What you gonna do, fiat dollar? On CryptoBullGod and his cryptomaniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you!
I will be taking many shots to celebrate my own personal goals this crypto cycle. I've been in this market for a pretty fucking long time. You see this? This is a chip. All my chips are in. I'm here, right? I'm not going anywhere! And this market has not topped. We got a lot more gains to go. Welcome in. I am the CryptoBullGod. It's a long way to the crypto top. If you want that generational wealth transfer opportunity, today's video has been inspired by AC/DC's It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll. I was listening to that in the gym, so thank you to AC/DC. In today's video, per your requests on Twitter, we're going to first focus on a few unique charts for HBAR. We're going to give an update on HBAR. We're not going to give an update. I'm going to give an update on HBAR. And then I'm going to get into a broader update on the cryptocurrency markets, focusing in on Bitcoin. You can follow me on Tradingview at CryptoBullGod. You can follow me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod. And real quick, I want to show you something because I want to express my appreciation to everyone. This video here, as you can see, this is the Holy Crypto Trinity video. This was recorded exactly almost on April 3rd. It was recorded 2 months ago. I had 1,686 followers on Twitter. Now, if we take a look at today, what we can see is that 2 months later exactly, I've had a 91% increase, so approximately double, basically. My Twitter followers, over 3,000 followers. So, thank you. It feels very good because very good to know that I'm helping people out. I put a lot of hard work into everything. So thank you very much for giving me a follow and having me join your side on this journey towards this generational wealth transfer opportunity that we are literally in the midst of. You know, speaking of appreciation, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. I love engaging with everyone. And also click the thumbs up button, which is very important. If you appreciate my content, all of these things really help me out as a content creator. So please consider doing all three. And also specifically for anyone that has any suggestions in growing YouTube subscribers, I would really appreciate any comments as it relates to that. I haven't had any problems growing my Twitter followers. That's been catching on pretty well, which I've been happy with. But my YouTube subscribers have been a little slow. I feel like I haven't been growing as much as I would have hoped. I'm still under 1,000 subscribers. So if anyone has any suggestions, I would really appreciate it. So just a quick disclosure that none of what I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm looking to educate, help, and spread sound technical analysis to the community to help others in making informed decisions. The ownership falls on you to make your own personal financial decisions. So let's get into things. All right, so the first thing I actually want to do is I want to take a look at the price of MATIC. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the price between the start of the year, this year, up until April 23rd. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing with HBAR. We're going to look at the start of the price between the start of the year to April 23rd. Okay? MATIC began at a price of 1.8 cents to start the year. And look at the price movements. We moved up until the beginning of March, came down, and we consolidated. Okay? What did HBAR do? And by the way, MATIC moved up to a price of 54 cents. Okay. HBAR began the year at, looks like, 3.2 cents. And what did we do? We moved up and we consolidated. Okay, that's essentially what we did up until April 23rd. And HBAR went from 3.2 cents all the way up to 46 cents. Okay, so the USD values for MATIC and HBAR very similar from low to high. The price movements very similar. And it's also important to note that the price appreciation for MATIC superseded that of HBAR up until this point of time. So now let's take a look at what happened after April 23rd. Let's look at MATIC. MATIC, if you were invested in MATIC, God bless you, son. Because MATIC made a 600% move. We moved up from, I took it from the close on April 23rd. We made a 600% move up to like $2.70 or around $2.70, 600% move. What has HBAR done? HBAR really hasn't done anything. HBAR made a 59% move, but look at it, it's just been consolidating ever since, right? So there's been this deviation in price. You know, they were closely aligned between the start of the year and April 23rd. Both the price appreciation levels, USD values, and price movements were very similar. But on April 23rd, something happened. MATIC had actually grossly superseded the price appreciation and deviated from HBAR USD. Now let's go to the next chart. This is the MATIC BTC chart. It's extremely important that you understand what a relativity chart is. Some people refer to these as Satoshi value charts. This is literally just looking at the MATIC USD chart as the numerator divided by the Bitcoin USD chart as the denominator. Simplistically put, it's very important that you understand this. If the MATIC USD price is increasing at a higher rate relative to the Bitcoin USD price, okay, in the denominator, the price will be increasing, okay? We're going to be increasing on this chart if MATIC is increasing at a higher rate. If MATIC's USD price is increasing at a lower rate than Bitcoin's USD price, we're going to be decreasing on this chart. Also, another way to look at this that's important to note, because prices can be going down, if MATIC's USD price is decreasing at a lower rate than Bitcoin, we're going to be, again, increasing. If MATIC is decreasing at a higher rate relative to Bitcoin, we're going to be decreasing. It is very, very important that you understand this concept before moving forward. I think a lot of people struggle with this. So what do we see here? Well, from 2020 until basically the beginning of March, we see there's, look at this. There's a bottoming formation. It's a giant U. Let's go to HBAR BTC. Same chart. You know, this is, I should comment, these are all 3-day charts. Just to consolidate some of the price action. What do we see here? Bottoming U formation. Different time frame. This goes out until May. This goes out until the very beginning of March, but same pattern. Now look what MATIC did. Now, if you're at this point in time, now it's important to note that I have the chart on auto scale. And what I have drawn here, this is also important to note. From the top here to the bottom, this is just, all I'm showing are fib retracement levels. That's the only thing I'm showing, okay? Now, what we're about to see is stuff's about to get batshit crazy. So we break out, okay? And not surprisingly, once we break out above our red line of resistance, which we're at the candle bodies here, we consolidate. Look at this. This is just basic TA. Look at how we consolidate right on this price action here. Or not consolidate, but we backtest it. Essentially backtest it as support. Again, basic premise in TA. Once you break resistance, you want to see it backtest and form as support to create a floor. Okay? So, but this is where shit gets real crazy. We went all the way up. These are fib extensions. We went all the way up and superseded a 9.618 fib extension. And again, you can't fully appreciate the price appreciation level unless I put it in these terms. This is on auto scale, so you can't really tell. By the way, so this is what I'm trying to say. This pattern down here was the U shape that we drew. Look at how tiny that looks. Look at how little tiny that looks. All right? And now we're up here and we're massive. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to be entertaining, but I don't think I'm being very entertaining. So let's get serious again. The point is that we went so high that the U-shaped formation and similarity that I pointed out within HbarBTC, you can't even see it. Okay, a 9.618 fib extension. MATIC's price, while Bitcoin was consolidating, MATIC's price went parabolic. Okay, it increased at a much more rapid rate than Bitcoin. Let's go to the HbarBTC chart. Well, what did HBAR do? What did the HbarBTC chart do after forming this U pattern? It's just consolidated. Look, we came up, again, we formed this U pattern. We've just consolidated, okay? So we've seen so far similarities within both the USD and BTC relativity values, but there was a deviation from MATIC that resulted in a greater level of price appreciation. So at this point, you might be thinking, well, that's nice, CryptoBullGod, but I guess the conclusion to draw is that MATIC's just going to outperform HBAR. Look, we go back to this HBAR USD chart. We're just consolidating. People have been talking about this bull flag, you know, and like I've been on Twitter, you know, and I've talked about this consolidation that's been taking place now for 81 days, and I guess it's just not going to do anything, right? Nah. I created a custom chart that I have posted about relentlessly on Twitter. It is the HBAR MATIC chart. It is very critical that you understand this chart. This is the #1 chart that I am looking at. You need to understand. I tweeted this out. I'm a nobody. I'm from northeastern United States. Okay? I live in South Florida now. I'm a nobody, mathematical. I'm a lover of mathematics, analytics. I'm an actuary. Okay? And I've fallen in love with cryptocurrencies and charting. Okay? I'm here to help you. Things that I am sharing with you are the exact same things that I'm looking at for my own personal buy-sell strategies, okay? This is the #1 chart that I am looking at. Pay attention and understand why that is, because I'm going to draw parallels between this chart and the other charts that we just looked at. What we're looking at here, back in 2020, this is a 3-day chart. Okay, just to consolidate price action, all right? What we're seeing here, this green line right here, this is a rounding bottom. This red line is a descending line of resistance that was broken. What else should we note here? If we click on a 1-day chart, if we go from a 3-day to a 1-day chart, I want you to observe what happened in this rounding formation. We came up, we came down, we sort of rounded out, and then we rounded out, and then we shot up in price. What else was going on? Oh, look at that. Bullish divergence on the RSI. So as price remained stagnant and people became impatient, HbarBarians, do not be impatient. As the price was impatient on this relativity chart, the relative strength index was gaining momentum. What happened then? Boom! Consolidate. Boom! Consolidate. We shot up in price. Okay? Let's extend the chart out. Let's go to... Oh, boy. Let's go to current times. Sorry, the passion comes out sometimes. Sometimes I have to calm myself. I'm a very passionate individual. I have so much to give. I find myself funny sometimes. I don't think other people do, but... All right, so what do we have here? Well, we had a movement up. This is on a 3-day chart. We've since come down. It is my educated opinion that this level right here where we've bottomed at, this relativity value, which is at the 0.116, that's our bottom. We're not going below this level. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen in the shorter term here. Let's go back to a 1-day chart. Again, rounding bottom. I just tweeted that we broke this descending line of resistance that we did back here, which I'm excited about. We're just rounding out. You can really appreciate the rounding bottom, which is how I created this chart, more on a 1-day. But guess what, folks? We got a bullish divergence again. The relativity, look at the relativity. We had a high up here and a lower high down here. But look at this RSI going higher and higher. That relative strength index is trying to tell us something. What I'm seeing in short, and I've looked at too many relativity charts not to feel convicted about this. I feel very convicted about this. I've seen similar patterns in other charts. Okay. I'm seeing a fractal is what I'm trying to say. This rounding bottom is playing out right now over here. So what we could expect to see using the bars here is something similar to this. Now, it's important to note a couple things to point out here. It's very important to note, and this is really critical because we need to be realistic with things. It's very important to note that when you look at price fractals, what does a price fractal actually mean? Because it irritates me when I see people on Twitter and they post things about fractals, but they're unrealistic in nature. A price fractal means we're looking at these price movements here. We see similarities here. And what we're able to do from the prior price history, discerning similarities, is we're able to hypothesize that we may see similar price action that played out here. Similar. Excuse me, that was horrible. Sorry, I was horrible in art school as a kid. I'm all left-sided of it. Music and math. That's what I am. This here, okay, because this prior price action here is similar to here, I'm saying that what we saw in here will play out here. But let me elaborate further. The magnitude of the price appreciation and the time in which it happens will not be exactly the same. It's not, but it'll be similar. The most bullish scenario would be that we revisit. See, we're creating lower highs here. We have to respect this descending line of resistance. The most bullish scenario I see at the moment is retesting this upward line here on this relativity chart. Okay, we might not even do that, guys. Right? We might not even do that. We could see maybe something like that. That's not unrealistic. But at the very least, I want to point out in this chart, at the very least, once price you'll see when it was at these suppressed lows, euphoric top, suppressed lows, okay? What did we do? Well, once we got off these euphoric tops and suppressed lows, we found this sort of average median line here, right? We saw a lot of price accumulation in this area here. I don't think I can draw any more circles. I could keep drawing more circles. You could keep watching and hoping I'm doing something technical, but I'm really not. All right. So the point is price accumulated in this range here, all right? At the very least, what I am expecting, even if we don't revisit this line here, okay, I am expecting price to get up into this golden zone here. And what that means is the relativity value will be somewhere between, we're just going to call it 1.5 to 2.5, okay? And I sort of picked the mid, this is sort of the midpoint at 2. So anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5. What does that actually mean? Well, if you followed anything I just said about relativity values, you should be able to quickly discern what that means, even if you can't mathematically compute it. What that means is that this relativity chart is saying that if we revisit this zone, which my educated opinion is that we will absolutely at some point, not too much longer, revisit this zone, whether it's June, July, maybe August. I don't know. I can't give you a specific time, but at some point in the not too distant future here, when we revisit this line here, the USD value for HBAR, will be between 1.5 to 2.5 times the USD value of MATIC. Look at MATIC's value today. MATIC's value today, and this is why I've been tweeting that it's good that MATIC's value is going up. MATIC's value today is $1.65. So take 1.5 times $1.65 or 2.5 times $1.65. I have a two median line here. So what that would mean is, let's say that we shot up tomorrow at this two relativity value. 2 times 1.65. I can do that in my head, but I'm just, just for further, just emphasizing the point here using a calculator. 3.3. Okay, $3.30 for HBAR. That's what that's implying. The other thing we need to be able to do now is we need to be able to connect the dots from this chart to the BTC relativity charts and ask the question, is this really realistic? Let's say today that HBAR shot up right in the middle here approximately to this 2 relativity line. That would put HBAR at $3.30. Now, if we flip back to the HBAR BTC chart, okay, is it possible, looking at this chart, is it possible that HBAR today, because again, I formed the conclusion that, we could shoot up to 2. Is it possible if we look at this chart, HBAR could really get to $3.30? Because again, we want confirmation. We want confluence. We want additional points of confirmation. We want to be able to look at multiple charts, connect the dots, and say, on this chart it's reasonable, on this chart it's reasonable. There's no chart that we look at where it's unreasonable to make that assumption. Okay? Is it possible tomorrow you could wake up and HBAR just hypothetically is $3.30? All right, let's take a look. So what we're going to do is we're going to auto scale this chart. Okay? And by doing so, what we see are all these fib extensions. Now, as you will recall, MATIC went apeshit crazy, broke out. We can't even see the U-shaped formation here, and we hit over a 9.618 fib extension. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way up to a 9.618 fib extension. Really struggling with this camera today. Sorry. A 9.618 fib extension. We're going to adjust here. This is saying that if BTC was $100,000 and we hit this 9.618 fib extension, HBAR's USD value would be $10.50. So all we're going to do is we're going to adjust the Bitcoin value to current prices, and then we're going to see what the HBAR price is and see if that relates at all to this $3.30 that we calculated on the other chart. All right? Because again, this is the fib extension we hit on MATIC BTC. Bitcoin is 37,200. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just take ratios. 0.372. I'm going to multiply it times $10.50. And I come out to $3.90. I came out to an HBAR value if we hit this fib extension similar to MATIC at $3.90, which exceeds this median line of 2 relativity value. Now again, we could go higher. But does that make sense? Is that even reasonable? Well, it's reasonable for a few different reasons. First off, $3.90 on this chart at a similar fib extension that we hit here gets us to $3.90, which is very close, right around the value in here. The other thing that I really like about that is that because we already confirmed the fact that MATIC USD has outperformed HBAR USD so far, year to date, we would expect, unless that trend changes, that the fib extension that HBAR would reach on its BTC relativity value would be lower than what MATIC has seen. So a $3.30 price level here is corresponding to a fib extension level here that is lower than what MATIC hit. So that's a further level of validation that this is all making sense. But something that I really want to have you walk away with is how I would encapsulate everything and how you should be thinking of it is HBAR, when we began the video, right, and we looked at the USD values, okay, we confirmed, okay, the price all in this area. If I can get on the right tool. The price all in this area between January and April. January. Struggling. The struggle is real. January and April. All this stuff is similar. And if we go to the MATIC BTC chart, we remember, I'm not going to click on it to waste time here, but we saw this U-shaped formation. We saw down here a U-shaped formation. And it was only on April 23rd that we got the deviation. We got the deviation in price where MATIC went up. So what I'm saying is MATIC has sort of shown us the light, shown us the path forward, shown us what is possible. And using this as a guiding point, okay? Using this HBAR MATIC chart, really struggling with the tools today. Using this HBAR MATIC chart as a guiding point, looking at the bullish divergence that's currently taking place, similar rounding bottom, similar fractal playing out. I've seen similar Satoshi value charts in other cryptocurrency projects. It is my hypothesis that at the very least, we will hit an area in this zone. This is the chart I really think you guys should be watching. And we should expect in the not too distant future here, in the shorter term, that HBAR should be revisiting this zone up here between 1.5 and 2.5 times the USD value of MATIC. The last thing I'll point out before we go to Bitcoin and a broader crypto update is there is one major area of resistance here which we didn't hit on, which if we look back here, there's prior confluence of resistance and support. And not surprisingly, it's this dark line right here. It's 1. So the relativity value of 1, meaning I think it is very possible that once we actually do begin to make a bullish move up, could happen next week, could happen 3 weeks from now, could happen a month and a half from now. I don't know exactly when, but I'm just pointing out, again, fractals don't play out exactly the same in timing-wise, right? We just explained that. We didn't explain that. I explained that. I don't know why I said we. Not really sure on that point. I'm one person. Not sure what's going on there. But what I was going to say is the 1.0 level is an area of confluence. So it wouldn't surprise me, okay, if we came up and we battled this zone right here and we kind of struggled with it and maybe then got to bounce up. That wouldn't surprise me either. But I would encourage you, everyone who's familiar with Tradingview and actually uses it, I would encourage you to create a custom chart. It's very easy to do. Reach out to me if you have any questions. It would just be the HBAR USD over MATIC USD on Binance Exchange relativity chart. So hopefully you found that very helpful. That's my update for HBAR, for all you HbarBarians. And we're going to get into the Bitcoin update. So I'm going to leave a link for the prior HbarBarians video and the prior, no, that should be enough. Prior HbarBarians video, which will give you an insight into the price targets that I'm looking for. Nothing has changed there. Nothing at all has changed. This is just further insight that I gave you in an additional chart, the number one chart that I'm going to be looking at. And again, I'm just trying to help you out by sharing that information with you. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to the prior TA video I made on Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market because I'm not going to rehash things, okay? I'm not rehashing things. In that last TA video, I have been so frustrated with a few prominent people that I've seen on Twitter and YouTube with some of the comments, and we'll get into it. But I have provided you with a very logical approach, which has not changed. Nothing has changed in any of the 6 empirical data points that I provided to you. I provided you 6 factual data points, all of which lead us to the conclusion that while we don't know exactly when the cryptocurrency market is going to top, we know that it has not topped. All 6 things are saying the same thing. So I encourage you to watch that video. Fast forward to 18 minutes and 30 seconds if that's the only portion you want to see. There is a 7th comical point thrown in there, but 6 empirical data points in there. What we're going to touch on is just the current price action and what I want to see and what I'm expecting. This line here is a black line of downward resistance. As we can see, high, a lower high, lower high. But we have, we have a low, a higher low, and a higher low. Now, we're coming up to the end of this black downward resistance line here. As you can see, I was pretty excited yesterday because as you can see, we broke up in this area here above the black downward line of resistance, but then we came back below and now we're below again. I want to see us get back above this downward line of resistance. It looks like today, the most bullish thing that I could hope for to see, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen, but what I'd like to see in the shorter term is I'd like to see us close right around, 38,000, 37,900, somewhere around this black line, this black downward line of resistance. But what I posted about on Twitter here, this is a 6-hour view here. Bitcoin loves to form triangles. If you go on Tradingview, you'll see I have the king of triangles, Bitcoin. Whether it's a bearish descending triangle or a bullish ascending triangle, Bitcoin loves to print triangles. So I am hypothesizing that it is possible. I'm not telling you it's going to happen. I'm telling you it's possible. That if we hit this zone in here between 41,300 and 43,000, what we could begin to do is create a bullish ascending triangle. And I would watch for this. The 42 in particular, the 43,000 area is a major area of resistance. So one thing I could see potentially happening is we come up, we reject, we come back down, we come up here, maybe we consolidate a little, and then we break out, okay? That is something that I could very much possibly see happening. Let me tell you what I don't see happening. It's something I haven't tweeted about, I haven't spoken about yet. I do not see this turning into a bear flag and us making a move down towards 20,000. I have consistently said, look, I've always told you, if you've been here for a long time, if you haven't, you're about to learn something new about myself. I'm not going to tell you something that you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I see in the charts, and I'm going to be realistic about things, right? And I'm also open, very open to the reality. It's not a possibility. The reality that anything could happen. Look, the entire market, there's a possibility for everything, even if it's 0.00000.1%. You have to understand my mindset. You have no idea. I'm an actuary, so I can appreciate that there is probabilities for everything. You have no idea. There's a probability everything can go to zero, literally. I mean, there's a probability for it. Do I think that's going to happen? Fuck no. But there's a probability for it. So what I'm saying is there is a probability that 30,000 was not the low. We could go lower. Do I think that that's going to happen? No. I have consistently come out and said we have our capitulation moment and we're going to either continue to consolidate for an extended period of time and go higher, or we're going to have pretty much a V-shaped recovery and recover a lot quicker than people are thinking. And I'm sort of, cautiously leaning towards the latter half of a V-shaped recovery just because the market is so pessimistic. Either case, I would watch out for a potential ascending triangle here. The other thing I wanted to point out here is in the shorter term, this is a bearish view. This is a bearish view. I've spoken to this chart many, many times. This is the 20 simple moving average, the 21 simple moving average, and the 21 exponential moving average. Typically in a bull market, or not typically, what Bitcoin has always done, it's respected. Pay no attention to the blue line for the moment. It's a 10 exponential moving average. The orange and the green line, it's respected those lines, and it stayed above it. Well, we've gone down. Well, why doesn't that concern me? It's bearish in the short term. We want to get above. Don't get me wrong. We want to get above those lines. Why does it not concern me? Well, we have those 6 empirical data points that I pointed out in the last video, namely. But 2, if you go back to tweets I had in December, January, and February, this move shocked me with how high we moved, how quickly. So it's not surprising that because we've moved at a more rapid rate than in prior cycles, we've now corrected at a larger rate and gone down below a key moving average that we haven't done in a prior cycle. What's pissing me off and what I tweeted about is there are people with paid subscription services for things. There are people, I'm not going to name names. There are people who have a large YouTube following. There are people with a larger Twitter following. And I am befuddled that I get the sense that when I listen to these people, they're looking at this one view and they're drawing the conclusion that because this has never happened in a prior bull cycle, that all of a sudden we're bearish and either we're entering a bear market or we're going to consolidate for the rest of the year and we're never going to see a new all-time high this year. Fuck no, do I believe that? Are you kidding me? Is it a possibility? Yes. Do I believe that? Hell no. So I appreciate differences in opinions, educated differences in opinions, but what I'm picking up on is I'm picking up on a lot of emotions right now. I'm not getting emotional about this. If I felt that the data suggested that we were going to enter a bear market and prices were not going to go back up from here in a shorter time frame than a lot of people think, I wouldn't be signaling so. Okay. Again, I want to stress, Google it if you don't know. I am an actuary. By definition, stereotypically, I'm conservative in nature, if anything. I'm very conservative in nature. If you knew me, you would know that. Okay? I drive around in a 2001 Acura Integra, all right? I could buy 5 million of them, but I drive around in a 2001. I'm conservative by nature, okay? So if I felt that the market was going bearish, I would be the first one to come out and give a word of warning. But I don't see that. I see this movement here as it's concerning in the short term. Don't get me wrong. I want to see us get above these levels. But in the grand scheme of things, I see that we had such a rapid rate up. I'm looking at 6 other empirical data points that say we have not topped. And so I'm not super concerned about this. The other thing is if we were entering a massive bear market, same moving averages here, same thing we just looked at for Ethereum. Why are we not below these moving averages? Why are altcoins, why is the king of altcoin expressing such strength over Bitcoin? No, I'm not saying we're entering the flippening here. Someone asked me that. I'm not saying Ethereum's flipping Bitcoin. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, why is Ethereum showing so much strength? If we were really entering a massive bear market or sideways consolidation into a bear market, this thing should have dumped a lot harder. We should be down here below $1,000. That hasn't happened. You have to exercise logic and look at numerous data points to form a to have a well-informed conclusion, right? And I see too many people looking at one thing. There is no one indicator or one price chart that's going to tell you the direction of the market, all right? Very, very, very important to keep in mind. Now, the last thing that I wanted to hit on, and I want to encourage you, I see definitely less engagement on my podcast. You know, at some point, my podcast, which is all audio, it's not video, it's only on YouTube right now. I'm going to get it on other platforms once I have a chance, okay? I only have time for so many things. I just spoke to this the other day on my podcast, so I would encourage you. I give crypto market updates on my podcast when I don't do TA videos. I would encourage you to check it out. What I have revised is the timing of the bull cycle top. Now, originally I said because of the rate of acceleration that we saw in Bitcoin, again, Bitcoin was superseding anything I had thought it would do. Originally, I signaled July to October. I have since refined that to be September to December. My most logical, looking at everything from a zoomed out perspective, I can see Bitcoin topping sometime between September to December, well north of 100,000. Well north of 100,000. Sweet spot between the middle of October to the middle of November. The worst case scenario that I see is that this bull cycle really does take longer than originally anticipated, something that aligned more with what I thought in 2019. And this bull cycle extends all the way out until the first half of 2022. But really ask yourself, what am I saying here? What I'm saying is, I'm not crystal clear. It's not crystal clear to me on the exact timing of when we'll top. Okay, it could be. I'm definitely I'm strongly leaning towards it being between September, December, middle of October, middle of November sweet spot. Potentially be extended into the first half of 2022. So really, I'm saying September of 2021 to July 1st of 2022. Wow, that's a large time frame. But if you're not looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, and you understand that this is a generational wealth transfer opportunity that has not topped, which is the key point. I am very, very adamant that the market has not topped. It's just a matter of when. Then why should you care? What I'm telling you is my educated hypothesis is that the market has not topped. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to top. I'm telling you hypothetically when I think it might top, but I am adamant that the market has not topped. Watch my last video. So, if you appreciated the content, if it's helped to make you a more informed investor, please like the video, please share it with others, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. It's going to help me out as a content creator. I'm looking to grow my subscriber base. And so with that, until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward.